Gold is soaring, and usually what that means is the money does flow into Bitcoin. However, Bitcoin looks absolutely dead and buried at 112,000 coins. Don't get me wrong, we can go down to even 100k, possibly even lower, and still be in a bull market and see all-time highs. Now, my bias slightly is that we will see all-time highs. Now, I don't know when that'll happen. I think it'll be in the next few weeks to months. Now, if that scenario plays out, that means altcoins will pump as well. Now, potentially we could come down to this 2.5 trillion area here in the purple box, worst case. Now, if that happens, I'll be even more bullish. We did see a liquidity drainage the other day when every single person on Twitter got drained. Even some top wallets, and 100 million P&L player got smoked, and now he's posting $500 wins. That's how bad it was. Now, I think that is enough for us to push higher. That's why my bias is up, because of that reason, and that reason alone, because I believe that is enough to force everybody out of the market for us to see higher prices. I know we are overextended, however, I believe there's room to go, especially for Bitcoin. I believe we haven't had that over the top euphoric moment up here in extreme greed for a while, and I think we will get that in Q4, hopefully so. That means alts should follow. However, if that doesn't happen, I do want to tell you the alternative scenario. If we're in this massive rising wedge that is going to break down, alts are going to get decimated like we saw the other day when some of them went down to 1 penny. That is a possibility. If Bitcoin doesn't go up from here, we have serious repercussions. And certain people, such as Benjamin Cohen, were advocating for you to be in Bitcoin right now because dominance will rise. And if dominance rises and Bitcoin crashes, altcoins are doomed. Bitcoin dominance is how many people are buying Bitcoin relative to the rest of the market. Now, if they are buying Bitcoin and money is flowing into Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes lower, that means alts are doomed because no one's going to be buying them. However, if Bitcoin goes up and we lose dominance, which is the best case scenario, which is my base case currently, that could change, then that means we may get alts outperforming at a certain stage, maybe later in the year, especially because now the Federal Reserve has mentioned that quantitative easing is a possibility. Quantitative tightening will end in the coming months. Quantitative easing will follow, and that is mega bullish for altcoins. This is what altcoins need. They need this environment where money is getting pumped into the economy, especially with us being in fear right now. That makes me more optimistic about the crypto market. And quantitative easing is when the Fed creates money to buy financial assets, usually government bonds. This increases the money supply and liquidity in the system. So yes, this is very bullish. Money like that will flow into risk assets such as the S&P 500 and Bitcoin, which is exactly what we want, because our altcoins will get looked at, because the average Joe will see Bitcoin being at over 100k and will say, nah, I'm not buying that. I'm buying XRP, it's a couple of dollars. Let me buy that. But it's important that Bitcoin, once it does retest this line, it bounces above it, because that may indicate that the bull run is over, which we don't want. Now, Bitcoin could liquidate everybody before we go higher, because it's similar to the Japan carry trade crash, and I mentioned this the other day. We could trend sideways, everyone could think it's over, we're going to distribute and it is a top, but then we may fly higher. Ethereum has broken the trend line as well. ETH BTC is looking bullish, which is very good, but Bitcoin demand is telling you it's a dangerous story. Now, could we get a blow off top? Because usually when it spikes and there's lower highs, it's not usually a good sign. But these indicators I'm not actually going to use to time the top, because I believe everybody's going to get fooled by using the on-chain metrics. Now, gold still looks good. Google apparently still looks good. It is in a bull flag, to be honest. I needed to get some more Google because that looks like it wants to pump higher. My chart's a mess there, by the way. The liquidations, however, do tell us that Bitcoin does want to head lower, maybe in the immediate short term, to wipe out 108k. Hopefully, I've got a buy at 108k. Obviously, I've got a stop loss on as well because I don't want to get smoked, because we could go all the way down to maybe 90, 80, 70k. We may even head into a bear market, which may show lower prices. So I want to be careful. But with the stock market, it erased 450 billion in 7 minutes because President Trump threatened to start producing cooking oil in the United States of America. That's how you know this market's a joke. That's how you know you need stop losses. That's how you know that certain altcoins can literally go to zero, and we saw that the other day. So you need to be very careful in these markets. I'm not going to lie, bro, at this point, just tell us how you feel. That's how we're feeling with Trump, because I feel like he's got to get something off his chest. I don't know what's going on. And a Chinese whale who lost over £2 million, $2 million in the Binance Flash crash, received 26 cents in compensation. Bro, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that much of a loser, because I know the majority of you have money, but you don't want to be the guy who ends up with 26 cents as his net worth. This guy will have to get a job, man. That's crazy. And I am trying to start some small positions on Bitcoin, as well as James Crypto Guru is. You'll probably get a better price right now. I think Bitcoin's trading at about 112,500. And altcoins could potentially do that if Bitcoin falls, because you're just going to get wrecked. And then for the majority of altcoins, there's no recovery. Let me make that clear. The majority of altcoins are cooked. But there's a 98% chance that the Fed will cut rates in 15 days. So there is some bullish background in this harsh environment where everybody's getting wrecked. And alt season could start right now. And apparently this, according to this brother, it's going to last 2 months. Usually alt seasons are very quick. If you look at this region right here, it happens very suddenly and when no one expects it. And hopefully I'll be ready for that. This guy's short in the market again, but he is taking profits, which is a good thing. But usually when this guy shorts the market, it's not a good sign. What does he know, man? And some people are expecting 69k Bitcoin. Everyone is bearish. The timeline on Twitter or X is bearish. So that is usually indicates the bottom.
If you don't own crypto, this might make you feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Now, this is an alternate scenario to the bearish outlook that we've been looking at, because we want to look at all the points of view. The bear market is a possibility, but if we go higher, alts could move.
This right here is called the Bitcoin dominance chart. So when this drops in dominance, that means Bitcoin loses dominance over the market. So basically, Bitcoin losing dominance means altcoin season. This was the 2016 ICO boom. This was the 2021 altcoin cycle. This is where we're at now. Look at how small this is. And what I did is I took this, I put it there just to show you a comparison of how small, how early we are when it comes to the altcoin cycle. Let me show you. Take a look at this. This from the top here to where we're at now, it's been 98 days. So you understand. And this is specifically October 2025. You just got to see it so you can actually believe it. Look at the cryptocurrency prices in the past 30 to 60 days. This is great. This is recent, right? This is recent. But let's look at what happens in the altcoin cycle. Just so you catch the dates, look at this right here. Look. January 2021. So we're talking about February, March of 2021, right? And then it just went insane. This is what I want. This is where you just get rich off of this. Look, February 2021. Look at this. 7-day percentage returns. Now watch it gain momentum. I told you the altcoin cycle is a little bit overwhelming. This is not normal. To say that something goes up 382% in a 7-day period of time is really just not a normal thing in the world. And how many of the coins are just going crazy. Remember, okay, so you're looking at 140. You're probably like, oh, it's not that crazy, man. It's 140. So you're only doubling, a little bit more than double your money. That's 7 days. That's in 7 days. People wait 5 years to double their money. And look at how many coins are all doing crazy. Look, we're in March now. Look at March. Look at April. This is what it looks like. And remember, we're here. And that's where we're going to be. So people that say that altcoin season is over, they just don't, bro, they don't know what they're talking about. Here's the top percentage increase coins from 2017 and 2021.
That is one problem though, because if dominance rises that high, what's going to happen to your alts? So maybe it's a better buy there. So maybe if you are looking at buying altcoins, maybe DCA, buy a little bit here, but focus on maybe dominance going a little bit higher and buying there, because that is less risk, let's be honest. And also, I wouldn't throw all your money into altcoins. I'd have a very small portion of your portfolio. I'd say 5, maximum 10%, because you don't want to get wrecked. And then you'll still see the upside if altcoins perform, which is still unlikely because they've done nothing up until this point. But that could be the reason why they do perform now, because everybody's fading them.
Here's the top percentage increase coins from 2017 and 2021. The green ones are 2021. The other ones are 2017. I mean, percentage increase. Look at that. I mean, it's like turning. Look, I like to do this. It's like turning $1,000 into 2.6 million for Rune, for this coin. Look at how many there is, bro. This is a consistent, predictable, real thing. I don't know how else to convince you other than just showing you how, like, this is where we're at. This is where we're going. That's what that looks like. This right here looks like this. Because I feel like people just don't believe. You need to believe so that you can execute and find these coins.
Wow, imagine, man. Imagine we see that. Then you're going to beat yourself up for not holding a few altcoins at least. I think for now, the best case scenario, if you don't want to get hit too hard, Bitcoin. Because with Bitcoin, the majority of people don't understand is the max drawdown that you're going to get with Bitcoin is not that bad. It's to 100k. What did it go to? 100k on the wick. So if you buy Bitcoin in spot, you hold it, it goes down 10%. You lose a little bit of your money. If you hold alts and it goes down, this is the worst case scenario. They're going to go down from 40 all the way to 99%. So it is scary that your portfolio and your whole net worth could evaporate overnight.